All right, welcome back. So today what I want to do in this video is talk a little bit about externalities. What an externality is, how we graph it, and oh, there's my calendar notification. So what an externality is, okay, is let's say, so let me erase this. Let's say we have a girl, okay, her name is Allie, and she goes to let's do a different example. We'll get to that example. We'll do an easier one first. So let's say you've got me, okay? This is Adam. And you know me, I go to the store. We're going to call this the store. And I buy a pack of cigarettes. Okay. Whoop, whoop. And so I pay for these. Whoa, why is that so big? For these cigarettes, I pay $5, and they give me the cigarettes, which the store also values at $5. I am all over the place today. I don't know why my iPad's not working. Okay, so they sell it to me for $5. So there's a mutual transaction that's occurring here, okay? And then I go, and you know me, I start smoking my cigarette. Looks like I'm eating a burrito more than smoking a cigarette, but and then you have all these people around me, okay? And what's happening is as I smoke this cigarette, it's harming them. They don't like the fact that I'm smoking a cigarette. And let's say it's causing $2 in harm to them. And so what's happening in this case is, even though mutually a private benefit and private cost, because normally we just looked at the individual transaction between the buyer and the producer and the consumer, as I smoke, there's also a social cost. It's hurting those in society, an external cost that we don't measure in the normal transaction that we should take into account. So that's why externalities are important, is because this is an example of a negative externality, is because we have these, so this is your marginal private cost and marginal private benefit, and then we also have that's the wrong way. It goes like this. And this is your price, and this is your quantity. So then you have this marginal social cost, which I'll kind of put in green. Actually, I'll put it in red so it looks more menacing. Okay, so we have this marginal social cost. So basically what this is showing is this is the cost of society, okay? And even though, like, this might be a $5 right here, like the private exchange between the store and me, it's also hurting society more. So the marginal, because the cost to society, the social cost, is higher than the private cost. And as such, to reach the social equilibrium, we need to cut down on the quantity of cigarettes sold. And this is where taxes and subsidies become efficient, is because it gets us to the socially optimal point. It reduces the quantity, okay? And so in this case, for example, because there's a social equilibrium and a private equilibrium, there's actually a deadweight loss, because we want to hit this point right here. We want to be right there, the social equilibrium. But where we're at is currently the private equilibrium. So how do we get there? Well, that's when a tax comes in handy. So let's draw the deadweight loss. And the best way, the way I remember how there's a deadweight loss, is it's kind of like a little arrow pointing to the social equilibrium. Obviously, since it's deadweight loss, it's going to be a triangle. So it's either going to be this triangle or this triangle. Well, if it's an arrow that's pointing, like a little arrow, I'll make it purple so it's easier to stand out. I'm just going to erase this, make this clearer. Okay, so if this is a little arrow pointing to the social cost, this is our deadweight loss. Okay, do you see how it's an arrow kind of pointing to the point we want to be at? So this is our deadweight loss. So how do we get to the point that we want to be at? Well, we need to institute a tax, okay? So this is our current quantity. But if we put a tax in, a tax wedge, and I'm going to show the tax wedge with green. So if we put a tax wedge, would you look at that? Then we reach the quantity that we want. Put it as Q star. And so the distance of the tax is this right here. This is our tax. We don't take the area of the triangle, it's more just the height of the triangle. So that tax is what we would institute to combat, to reach a solution for a negative externality. Okay, hopefully this makes some sense. So because a tax will cut down on quantity, so it prevents the social cost, or prevents people from buying too much, and also allows people to pay for the social cost. So like, for example, this could be like a $2 tax to help make up for the social cost that it causes to society. Hopefully this is making some sense. Let's do another example. We're going to do a positive externality. So in a positive externality, let's say that Allie, this is Allie, she loves to go to the park. Okay, and it provides her benefits, and so makes her happy. And let's say this is the case for a lot of people. Allie's not the only one. Okay, and even though Allie may not have directly paid for the park, maybe it's someone else, maybe it's a different community. She just likes to visit this park and she doesn't live in the community, so it wasn't her taxes that paid for it. But it still provides her with happiness. Let's say it provides her with $2 in benefit. So this is an example of a positive externality. Good other examples are like if my neighbor takes really good care of his lawn or his house and it makes the neighborhood look good, it makes my house look good, or makes me happy to look at it, that could be a positive externality. And there are other examples. And so it's an external benefit. It's not associated with the direct buyer and seller. So how do we show this graphically? It's very similar. Just the other way. So we have our, let's see here, this is our marginal private cost, and we have our marginal private benefit, and then we have our, I'll make it blue, our marginal social benefit. So this is the socially optimal, whoop, you can't see, this is the socially optimal equilibrium, this blue dot, because obviously we want more of these positive externalities because it's good for society, right? People want more, so the quantity would be higher. Okay, and it also provides it provides more benefit. So where would the deadweight loss be? Because if we're producing at the private benefit and the private cost, what we want, it's an arrow pointing to the area that we want. So I'll do this with a purple. So we do a little arrow pointing to the socially optimal amounts. So there's our deadweight loss. So how do we encourage people to create positive externalities? Well, it's the opposite of a tax. We create a subsidy, and the distance of the subsidy is right here. Okay, hopefully this makes some sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Adam out.